Well, good evening, everyone, or good day, depending on what time you're watching this. I'm Darren Lutton, and welcome to the Look Finance SEQFC Preview Show with thanks to Vilic Law. We're, of course, discussing all the women's leagues and the Sunshine Coast League. Now, we don't have Kev Alderdice with us tonight. He's found a couple of 7-year-olds playing in the park, so he decided he'd take his gear over and call that action. So instead, we brought in one of the big guns. We've got the coast of Biwa Glasshouse. It's Daniel Carew. Dan, welcome.
How are we? I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. And of course, back after her successful debut last week, she was so nervous beforehand and so excited afterwards. She's been counting down the hours. Liz Risley, Women's Coordinator at City Bulls.
Hey guys, evening all.
Good stuff. All right, Liz, we've got a lot to get through tonight. So, but let's start with you, Daniel. Let's first of all just tell us about your team this season. How you going? You happy with where you're placed at the moment?
Yeah, no, we're doing quite well. I think obviously everyone had their COVID's always been very interesting. It was always going to be very interesting coming back in, but got a good group of players that are really keen. I think it's like anything, you just take what you can get. And, I think it was always going to be a bit of a rough patch to start off with coming off. But, they've done really well. The last couple of weeks have been really good, some good performances. We've tidied up a bit defensively and, we're scoring some goals and, we're winning some games. It's always nicer that way when you're winning. We're sitting, I think, second at the moment on the table and, obviously we played a game extra than everyone else, but and I'm happy with how the boys are going. We're looking good, and I think we're going to get better and better. So I'm looking forward to it.
Just going to ask this one, just out of the teams on the Sunshine Coast. Do the clubs have budgets?
No. So it's one of those. It's a hard one because I know that with obviously a lot of our clubs, there's obviously budgets for the coaches in the sense of equipment and things like that. But I don't know with all the other clubs on how it goes. It's normally a lot of it comes down to sponsorship, getting sponsors in for the clubs to run. So, obviously budget is mainly for all the equipment and all the gear and obviously all those sort of things. But, obviously each club's different. I can only speak from our behalf. Obviously I'm a paid coach, and it's my job to then use that to try and get the best team I possibly can and to try and make them feel as comfortable as I can. But a lot of I know from my experience, especially with B1, a lot of the boys are happy to put in money to make themselves a little bit more professional. I go out and get sponsorships personally to try and get physios and just do the little things to try and make us a little bit more professional, looking professional, I guess. We get a lot of games filmed and things like that. That's not free, so sponsorships, and we've got some really good sponsors that come on board that sometimes don't like to be named and like to be able to help make it a bit more professional, that are long-time supporters of the club. So they're like, those people are just invaluable. And I'm pretty sure most clubs have those people and they go unnoticed. But, like anything in our league, everyone knows who they are and everyone, appreciates them before what they do. I know clubs, generally speaking, no, there's no budgets. Everyone has to pay their rego fee like normal and earn their way through our league, just like it has always been, I guess, with most leagues when you're playing locally.
Sure. So how do you attract a player to your club?
Well, for us, obviously, my big train, or I guess my big catching point was going to Biwa. Was obviously it's a decent drive. We've got really good facilities. We made sure that we had better facilities than everyone else. We made sure that change rooms and things like that. If you see any of our videos and stuff, we put name tags up so that they get a little bit more of a professional feel. They get a physio. That's actually a physio. Thanks for me anyway. I'll give a shout out to Sage Physiotherapy. Without him, my boys do not get on the pitch. But little things like that. Having name tags with their names, getting Puma on board to get a deal, so they only pay a little bit of money for a tracksuit. These sort of things obviously help in engaging players or better players. And I mean, as you've probably spoken to, like Bailey Wern, players that I've coached before, bring young players in that have got good ability that I've coached previously, and we try and give them an option, as a stepping stone club to get them to the next level. So with that, obviously I have a lot of success with getting younger players and good players to that next level with contacts that I've made over my years of coaching, playing through, professional footballers. So with that, it helps, if you're getting a young player at 16, 17 years old, that's told, you can play under 18s and NPL, or you can come play senior football for a year, 2 years, get some experience, and I can help you then go to the next level, put them in contact with someone that's, at a better level. And if they do well and they get picked up, then they skip that program without spending 3 to 4 years in there. It doesn't always work, obviously, but at the same time, it's more of I think, a gamble for me and for them, but it seems to be working. So.
And just before we get to the games, you mentioned the highlights packages before. We've actually shared them on the SEQFC page. They seem a little bit intrusive with all the pre-game. Has there been a time when you've had to say, guys, not here?
At the end of the day, the guy, look, I've had 3 guys now that have done the filming, for example, and I let them do whatever they want. At the end of the day, these guys that come in, they come in and they're learning as well. So a lot of the time and I can tell you that the other 2 guys we've had have gone on and now own their own companies or are starting their own businesses. So this is really like a preview for them to sort of try things and see how they go. And to be fair, we've even, like, for me, to see them kick on and get more business and now are making money from it, and those videos have been used for that. So I kind of let them do whatever they want. Like, I have had a little bit more input this year, especially with the songs at the end. I feel it's a bit. I even said to our guy, we're winning, but I don't really want anyone hearing the song, and it's sometimes a bit over the top. So that's probably the only input I've had. But look, I think footballers, and I think you both agree, and most people agree, they love to show off. They love to have a bit of a show. And we've got some really good characters in there. And I think people really enjoy seeing normal day people that work for a living, that are not professional footballers, having a good time and, getting a bit of limelight. I think it's exciting. It's a bit fun. And it gives something to the league. I think in the end of the day, if you're playing football on a Saturday and you get filmed for it, you sometimes play a little bit better. And having a bit of character, I think we all enjoy it. At the end of the day, seeing someone score and celebrate and, have a bit of fun before the game, I think we can all appreciate it. I think it makes the game a little bit more fun, a little bit more enjoyable. But yeah, obviously it makes the league lift. I think everyone has to lift their social media game, and I can understand why people don't like it. Maybe they have to do a bit more work, but it is what it is. It's another thing that we do that I guess helps players, want to come to us. They get filmed, they get their games filmed. As a young 16, 17-year-old, I mean, I never had that opportunity when I was growing up as a player. I mean, I would have taken it like that. If I knew my games were getting filmed, I could get a highlight package together and send it off to scouts or send it to America to try and get into a college. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Not that you want to go there at the moment.
No, we won't talk about that, but, like...
I've got one sitting at home waiting for the borders to open.
It's crazy.
I know.
All right. Let's get to the games then. There was only one match played on the weekend, Kawana and Caloundra fighting out a 3-3 draw. That's a good result for Kawana, isn't it?
Well, they didn't play on the weekend. They actually played last night, I think it was. Last night. Correct. Yeah, last night. On the weekend, the weekend games were actually, like, we played on the weekend, but they had a midweek game as well. Yeah, our league's a bit all over the place at the moment. A lot of games happening, shifted around and stuff. But yeah, they played last night 3-3. Yeah, interesting. Bottom table. I was actually there to watch that one. So yeah, it was very interesting. Kawana. Yeah. Look, yeah, to be fair, like, I mean, Caloundra, I can be honest, they look tired. They played Noosa on the weekend, big game. I mean, we all know what Noosa's like. They're a bit of a powerhouse in in a Sunshine Coast football at the moment, and you play them on the weekend and you draw with. I'm pretty sure they had a draw with Noosa, so that was a tough game, and obviously you could just tell last night they were knackered. They probably had the better of the chances as such. They hit the post and crossbar, but Kawana they're a young team, so. And look, they've got nothing to lose. Everyone's expecting them to not win games because they've lost all their top players from last year's grand final team. So everyone's, there's no pressure on them to win games. I think they're then their rebuild year. So being young, they'll always be dangerous. If you can kill them off early, obviously it takes a sting out of a young team. But they added a couple of boys to their team, Timmy and Toby Adebayo. I think you've seen them. They're two boys that are very good players. I had the privilege of coaching Timmy, and he's dangerous. He's a very dangerous player. So it's good for them to pick them up. And, yeah, we got them this weekend, so we'll see how we go.
Sure. There's 3 other games occurring as we speak at the moment. So by the time people are probably watching this, the games will have already occurred. So let's go to the Saturday games. So you're playing Kawana this weekend, but I'd suggest that Butterham and Gympie United might be huge.
Yeah, Gympie's look, again, like we played Gympie and we were 4-0 up at half time and we played some really good stuff, but they're a side that, again, like our league is so up and down. If any team on their day, if they turn up, they can win games. And Gympie's well drilled. Kai Nix is a great coach. He's got them drilled well, and on their day, Jaden Davey and Adam Cross, and if they turn up and they score goals, they'll cause problems. But yeah, look, that'll be a tough game, to be fair.
Caloundra should get a chance to redeem themselves against Coolum, and the other match is Noosa and Maroochydore.
Yeah, that's the big one. That'll be interesting. I think Maroochydore are in form. Obviously, they lost their first team keeper. I don't know if you knew that, Josh Lewis. He'll be out I'm pretty sure he's out for the season. So they had a bit of a rebuild in that little part. Obviously a bit shaky, but they look strong. We watched them a few times, and yeah, they got Antic Nat. They got some boys in there. They're very good players. So that'll be a good game against Noosa. I'll be interested to see the result in that one. It could be a draw, to be fair, which I wouldn't be unhappy about at all. I don't mind draws.
You were saying before about the compressed nature of the fixtures. The fact that 2 teams have a bye every round, that's surely got to help things, yeah?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it depends on when it falls too. Like, I think our bye falls on a Wednesday night. So instead of us playing a Wednesday night fixture, we actually have a bye. So it didn't work out too bad for us. But I think we've got Kawana Coolum, and then we have a bye. So it's quite good, I think, to have those ones in there. It just depends on when it falls. I don't know about other teams, obviously, but if the bye falls on a Wednesday and everyone else is playing and you get to rest, I mean, that's great. But if it doesn't, sometimes it can suck. But
are you doing 2 games a week up there?
I think it's only in certain fixtures are. It's not like because our season's been extended, so we're actually not finishing in September. We're actually finishing in November. So we're still playing the same amount of games. Yeah, but it's I think there's like a couple of, I think maybe 1 or 2 weeks in there where you might play 3 games. And then
how many rounds do you end up with at the end?
I think ours is like 2 and a bit. It's not like 3 rounds. It's not 2 rounds. I think it's like 2.5 kind of thing. Yeah.
So about 18, 19 games.
Yeah.
All right. So we've played your strong suit. Let's move over to the Women's League now.
Yeah.
We've got some surprise leaders at the top of the table. Nambour Yandina have come from the clouds to be top of the table.
Yeah, they've done really well. I mean, look, their men's side is always been good. So it's like I think it's like anything. They're building their club up, and the women are obviously stayed on. I'm not too sure who else they've got signed, but yeah, they seem to be playing, getting points every week. You look online and they got points, so they must be doing something right. I'm pretty sure they beat our women as well. But yeah, they look like they're getting momentum and they're going with it, and winning games is it doesn't matter how you win them as long as you win them, right? So they're doing really well.
And of course, your club is so successful in the women's competition that, but this year not faring so well. 6 points after 6 games.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been their best of seasons. I know. Speaking to Corey, I know he had obviously some players, key players leave and whatnot, and he's also said that a lot of injuries and a lot of people, a lot of players just some didn't come back because of COVID. Just decided that was it. But I think it's like anything. You just got to get a bit of momentum. I think you get 1 or 2 wins, and that momentum can start to build, and you get yourself back there. I mean, that's all it takes really in our league. I feel you lose a couple of games, and before you know it, you're down the bottom. If you win a couple, you're back up the top. So it can be very, very touch and go. But again, they need to probably start winning some games soon, or else it becomes a bit too far. But yeah, they've got some good players, so hopefully they can all get together and hopefully make it happen.
And they get a good chance this weekend as they take on Gympie United, who are both on 6 points after 6 matches. But we've got a top-of-the-table clash. Nambour and Dina are taking on Maroochydore, just 1 point behind. So that's very clearly the match of the round.
Yeah.
Caloundra are taking on Woombye, who have yet to gain a point in the competition.
Mm.
All right. So let's move on now to the NPLW. We had a top-of-the-table clash last week, well, first versus third, where Lions FC took on Easts, and Easts actually scored first and looked really good in the first half, but Lions, such a powerful team, stormed home in the second half to win 4-2. And they're this weekend travelling down to take on Gold Coast United, who also had a 5-1 win last week. So we've got a top-of-the-table clash. That is clearly the match of the round. Just looking at the other fixtures, Southwest Queensland Thunder had a good first half on the weekend, and you get the sense that they're building something here. They're taking on Logan Lightning, and if they can maintain their form and turn their good 60 minutes into a good 70 minutes, into a good 80 minutes, you can see them getting some points very soon. Mitchelton are taking on Souths United, and again, 2 teams pretty closely pitted in the ladder. So interesting to see how that one turns out. Moreton Bay are playing Football Queensland QAS. I think if Moreton Bay are going to get any points this season, they'll be picking out this match as their big opportunity. Now, the final game is Capalaba up against Easts. Now, I've already told you about what Easts did last weekend, but Capalaba, they have been very disappointing so far this season. They've got a team jam-packed full of stars, but they just haven't gelled yet. They haven't quite got it going. They've had a few good wins, but they've just been so patchy. So if they're going to make any dent on the competition this weekend, they have to win. They simply have to win. If they come away with anything less than 3 points, they're in big trouble. But East's a chance for them for redemption. The Gap, of course, have the bye. All right, that's the NPLW wrap. Liz, it's time to release.
Oh, I need a coffee now. Okay, so I got out to a actual game on the weekend. Our men were playing up at the Lakes, so I made sure I got there a bit earlier and watched Coomera play against the Lakes.
Yes, no, I was a bit harsh against the Lakes last week and thought I was perhaps a bit nasty when I said that their defence were having a few issues. Go and lose 5-0.
Well, the first half, bit scrappy in the fence, I'll give them that, but they turned it around. The second half scoreline didn't really reflect the second half. They held their own in the second half, a couple of good shots pretty much, and tired legs at the very end sealed it for that score. It was interesting because then we played the next day down at Broadbeach. So who was there? Coomera. Watching the Broadbeach game because, surprise, surprise, Coomera take on Broadbeach this weekend. So it was interesting seeing all the Coomera girls there watching us then play Broadbeach. I was just getting the results up, but my phone locked up.
3-0 you won. What did you make of Broadbeach, Liz?
Yeah, not bad, actually. I mean, it was we 1-0 at half time. So I think we thought it was going to be an easier game than it was. I think the heat of the middle of the day down there and the strong gusty winds didn't help. Either the winds were just going straight across that park out to sea. But we held our own. Came away with the 3-0 win. thank goodness. Our reserve grade had a cracking 4-0 win, so hats off to
That
both.
keeps you guys undefeated. And of course,
It
the other
does,
undefeated team is, although they haven't played all their fixtures, is Virginia United.
Yes. Well, we've still got one in hand too.
Yep.
Yeah, and Penn Powers already had their 4th, so we can catch Penn. Look out.
All right.
We're coming for you, Penn.
Peninsula Power had their big match against UQFC and came away with a 2-1 win.
Yeah, I thought, looking at the previous results, I thought it might have been a bit more one-sided. So it's just interesting to see these results are so close. There's no real, the big scores are coming where you expect them, but some of these teams you thought were going to get big scores aren't getting what you would think. So I think we've all just had that COVID issue. Players haven't come back. Everyone's trying to find their feet. They still really are.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah, they really are. And I mean, again, we had another signing this week. I wish I could just shut the door.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's happening everywhere. They're just coming out of the woodworks at the moment.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah,
in saying that, though, we went to Broadbeach with one reserve on one bench player for our reserve grade, and then brought 3 reserve grades up to bench for topside because all of a sudden Sunday morning we had a bout of sickness.
Yeah.
And we had a few out.
It seems to be across the board in women's, men's, everything at the moment. It's just injuries / players are coming out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know how they're getting through the borders, but, they are.
We've had another under-18 do an ACL. That's 2 ACLs in our under-18s team in a couple of weeks. That
is.
How do you maintain it? Because we can't drop any of the younger BPL girls back to the 18s either to help them out. And then we've got a massive gap between the 15s to the 18s. But anywho, we'll sort it. We'll get there.
Now, Liz, the Bulls have the bye this weekend, so I'm sure you're going to be out and about checking out all the other teams. Which games take your fancy?
I'll try. Got a big weekend at the club, but I'll try and get out there. Let's see how it goes. So, Grange, you dropped out. Grange and Robina, I think that'll actually be a good game. As much as they're bottom of the table, it might help them both find their feet. Are you still there, Darren?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I just got a logo, that's all. You disappeared.
Yeah, we'll just talk to each other, Liz. It's all right.
It's all good. We got it.
Just fixing my makeup.
We got this, Darren. So Grange, Robina, bottom of the table. I don't know if that's deserving for both teams. I think they're probably still both as well finding feet. Robina has a few changes in their team. Grange Thistle, unknown entity to me, unfortunately. I haven't had a chance to see them. So hopefully one of them will come away with a win. It won't be a draw, so one of them will get off the bottom with the 3 points. So what's that, Saturday, isn't it? And there's no Friday night games this week.
No.
I'm free. I'm actually free Friday night. I could have got out there.
You can have a wine.
Annerley and Lakes is the other one. Annerley Lakes again. Yeah. Annerley sitting middle of the table. Lakes 3 points, but they're both on 3 points. It's just that for and against. So again, could be a close game. I watched the highlights of AC Carina and Annerley and nothing jumped out. So, I mean, AC had the 2 girls that have come over from Capella NPL, probably helped them a lot. So it could be interesting to see how the Annerley Lakes game goes, especially if Lakes have got their defensive line going. I've worked on that. It might be interesting for Annerley. Virginia Penn, again, like Archie said last week, Costa's that unknown entity. He says he's travelling hard, but all of a sudden, bang, he'll pop up. So Penn might get pipped this weekend. You never know. Virginia is sitting 4th. So
It'll be the match of the weekend, right?
I'm pretty sure it would be, yeah. UQAC, I think, might be a little bit one-sided. Same with Coomera, Broadbeach. Mind you, I mean, Broadbeach weren't easy competition, and there'll be a lot of local rivalry going on down there between Coomera and Broadbeach. So I wouldn't be surprised if they both bring it this weekend too. So maybe we had the right weekend to have off.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm having weekend off. I'm going camping up your way, Daniel. Actually, I'm going out to Kenilworth.
Still pretty far from me, but
I'll go past you guys anyway.
I do know this though: the bakery out there, unbelievable. You can get that kilo, you can get that big kilo donut. I know you want one of them. Come on.
Yep.
A 6
Definitely.
kilo donut.
No, they're like those 1 kilo, those big 1 kilo jam and cream donut. Have you seen them? They're incredible.
Feed your team that?
No, hell no. I can't even eat it. But the fact that
Celebration dinner.
Actually, I know I've got a couple of players that would eat it. I'm hands down. I've got a couple.
Very good stuff.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you very much for.
I think the ladder will be a bit shaken up by the end of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we'll just see how that weekend pans out. I'll try. I don't know how I'm going to get to a game. I've got the son-in-law playing Saturday night, so Saturday's pretty much out for me, and I ain't going to Gold Coast again.
Fair enough, Liz. Fair enough.
Trip to the Broadies enough when I go back to Robina next weekend, so no.
Very good.
Rest.
What's that? We're volunteers. We don't rest.
You just close your eyes while you're at the club for a little bit. That sometimes works for me.
No, someone finds you.
Yeah.
They always find you hiding in the corner.
Liz, thank you very
You
much
go in
again.
the corner of the office underneath all the merchandise. They still find you.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Thank you very much, Liz.
All right.
We will see you next week. Daniel Carew, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Good luck with the remainder of the season. And maybe we'll sneak you in for another week.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. And that is the Look Finance SEQFC Preview Show with thanks to Vilic Law.